Welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into a massive, honestly game-changing shift happening in healthcare right now. We're going to explore how emerging multi-agent AI systems are actively solving what's known as the clinical bottleneck. And in the process, they are fundamentally redesigning the modern doctor's visit. If you've ever felt rushed at the doctor's office, and let's be real, who hasn't? Or if you're a healthcare provider literally buried in paperwork, the research we're unpacking today is absolutely crucial for you.
All right, well, let's look at this number right here, 5.3. That's 5.3 minutes. And what is that? It's the median amount of time a patient actually gets to speak during a typical primary care clinic visit. Think about that for a second. You wait weeks for an appointment, you commute there, you sit in the waiting room reading old magazines, and your actual window to verbally share your concerns, just over 5 minutes. The doctor speaks for about the same amount of time, and the rest, well, it's often just awkward silence while practitioners navigate endless digital menus.
This incredibly tight window creates a severe clinical bottleneck. So why is it so rushed? Well, the data points squarely at the massive administrative burden of electronic health records, or EHRs. Studies show primary care doctors spend nearly 6 hours every single day just interacting with these digital interfaces. To put that into perspective, that translates to almost 2 hours of clerical work for every 1 hour of actual face-to-face patient care. Because of this, a staggering 85% of physicians report that they simply lack the time needed to manage complex conditions or spot hidden risks.
So, that brings us to Section 1, the primary care bottleneck.
Let's look at the root of the problem. The massive information asymmetry between patients and providers. When patients lack personalized, actionable medical knowledge before they walk into an appointment, it leads to significantly less active participation. They literally formulate fewer actionable questions. And this forces doctors into a corner. Instead of using those precious 5.3 minutes to investigate complex issues, they're stuck in a reactive cycle, providing basic repetitive explanations over and over. The visit devolves from what should be a collaborative clinical strategy meeting into a rushed educational session.
Moving on to Section 2, bridging the information gap.
So how do we fix this and optimize those precious 5.3 minutes of dialogue? Well, these new specialized multi-agent AI systems are designed to act almost like a universal translator, sitting right between you and your doctor before the visit even begins. On one side, the AI shows a warm, empathetic face to the patient. It conducts a conversational intake in everyday layman language, fully exploring your concerns and explaining clinical concepts clearly. But here's the magic. Simultaneously, on the back end, it operates as a specialized medical assistant. It takes that casual conversation and translates it into a highly structured medical-grade report. This dual-action approach means you feel heard and educated, and the doctor gets exactly the clinical data they need for accurate diagnostics, totally bypassing the heavy administrative lifting.
And this brilliantly illustrates how systems like Amy actively rewrite chaotic, sometimes noisy medical histories into clean, logical, and highly empathetic text-based conversations. The AI acts as an active listener. It asks open-ended questions, groups similar inquiries together to avoid redundancy, and dynamically adjusts its follow-ups based on emerging diagnostic hypotheses. It's not just running down a static script, it's a truly adaptive, intelligent intake process.
Let's head into Section 3, empowering the physician. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the AI shifts the doctor's workload entirely away from exhausting data gathering. By the time the patient walks into the exam room, the doctor is already equipped with structured data and potential diagnoses. During clinical feasibility studies, providers noted that having an AI conduct a comprehensive history shifts the visit from data gathering to data verification, because you arrive prepared, and the physician already has a synthesized summary. Doctors are freed from repetitive questioning. They can build a rapport much faster, significantly shorten the time needed for basic diagnostics, and focus deeply on shared decision-making and critical care management.
But hey, you might be wondering about the accuracy of the diagnostics themselves, right? We aren't just talking about chatbots taking notes. We are talking about AI assisting in critical diagnostic tasks. This brings us to a fascinating concept developed by Google DeepMind called CODOC, or complementarity-driven deferral. Basically, this is a framework where the AI mathematically knows when it's best to step back. CODOC learns the relative accuracy of an AI model compared to a human clinician's interpretation. It figures out, based on confidence scores, whether it's safer and more accurate to rely on its own prediction or to simply defer completely to the human expert. This collaborative human-AI framework is incredibly powerful.
In real-world testing with medical imaging data sets, like mammography for breast cancer screening, the Kodak system actually reduced false positives by 25% without missing any true positives. No way, right? Furthermore, in hypothetical simulations, it reduced the number of cases needing a clinician's review by 2/3. It absolutely proves we are much better together. AI doesn't have to be perfect on its own, it just needs to know precisely when to hand the reins over to a human expert, combining the best of both worlds.
Which brings us to Section 4, Ironclad Privacy and Security. Naturally, when dealing with sensitive health records, privacy cannot be an afterthought. It must be the foundational architecture. Let's see how this builds using a strict 3-step physical bifurcation of data. Step 1. Edge processing. Raw physiological data is first processed locally right on your smartphone, utilizing localized AI models that require no internet connection. Step 2. Before any data leaves your device, it undergoes rigorous cryptographic de-identification to completely scrub identifiers and meet HIPAA safe harbor standards. Only then, in Step 3, is that mathematically scrubbed data sent securely to the cloud for complex AI inference.
To protect against highly sophisticated modern re-identification attacks, these systems employ advanced mathematics, starting with K-anonymity. This enforces that general identifiers like your age bracket or geographic location are mathematically identical to at least K-1 other individuals in a dataset. In plain English, the crucial point here is that your specific profile is hidden within a statistically identical crowd, making it practically impossible for anyone to extract your specific health records. Furthermore, the pipeline utilizes differential privacy. This involves injecting calibrated statistical noise, such as Laplace noise, into the dataset before transmission. Differential privacy provides an ironclad mathematical guarantee that the inclusion or exclusion of your specific data points will not significantly alter the output of the query. Together, these techniques preserve the high utility of the data for the AI to analyze while completely neutralizing the risk of anyone reverse engineering the data to figure out who you are.
And finally, Section 5, a new era of care. We are stepping into an era where AI doesn't replace doctors, but acts as a hyper-competent co-clinician. But to ensure absolute clinical safety and prevent the AI from making up facts, a phenomenon known as hallucination, systems like Corandi implement unyielding protocols. They use Advanced Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. The AI's knowledge base is anchored exclusively to verified, peer-reviewed medical databases like PubMed, Medline, and the Cochrane database. It also uses a multi-agent system for active, real-time semantic cross-referencing. One AI agent proposes a clinical response, and a completely separate agent instantly fact-checks that claim against the medical literature before a user ever sees it.
By bridging the information asymmetry gap, dramatically reducing those crushing administrative burdens, and ensuring mathematical privacy alongside strict clinical validity, these multi-agent systems are optimizing healthcare for both patients and providers. And this leaves us with a fascinating final thought to take away from all this research. How will your next doctor's visit change when an AI co-clinician is sitting right there in the room, acting as a universal translator and finally giving your doctor the time to focus entirely on you?